Okay, why do I want to go to Russia in the first place, and what's my history of Russia? I'm going to try to make this really fast because the other video was 20 minutes and it was way too long. So, first of all, when I was 13, I was raised in a really strict household. My parents were fundamentalist Christian. They were very strict, and I spent a lot of my time grounded, right? I was grounded a lot. I was always at home. I couldn't, usually I could only use the internet under like supervision. I couldn't talk on the phone unless it was to my family. I couldn't go outside and like make friends with the normal people outside because they weren't Christian. And my only opportunities for interaction were at school or at church. Um, for me, when I was a kid, I the only thing that I was interested in was socializing with people. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about books. I mean, I did care about, never mind. I didn't care about I didn't care about school, and I didn't really care about church. I cared about like the socializing aspect. You know how you ever heard the expression of like, oh, this isn't a social school, isn't a social club? Well, for me, school was a social club. Okay. And I think there is value in socialization and having social skills. But that's so anyway. So one day my mom approached me and she said, hey, the church is doing a mission trip somewhere, whatever. And so she's like, do you want to go? And I'm like, well, where? And she said like Mexico or Russia. And I was like, Mexico, whatever. I don't know what my thought process was, but when I heard Russia, I think it sounded so far away. I think it's because it just sounded so far away. And I was like, yeah. And Mexico did not, it's weird. It just, Mexico was like, did not interest me, not even like a little bit. And Russia, for some reason, I can't remember, but I feel like maybe it did ring a bell or something. It kind of like just resonated with me, even though I didn't even know what Russia was or where it was or anything about it whatsoever. Anyway, so what ended up happening is that I didn't think much about it because I figured, I didn't really invest emotionally into thinking that I was going to go, even though I was super excited because it would have been with my youth group and it would have been for 3 weeks. So I would have had 3 weeks away from my parents, away from my house, with just a bunch of people my own age and no one basically, well, there was supervision, but, very loose supervision compared to like how my life was, which was really repressed. I think I was homeschooled at this time. Yeah, I was being homeschooled. So, anyway, mom came back, and at this time, like flights to Russia were like super expensive. They were like $1,000, probably 2,000 round trip maybe. And I think I don't know, whatever. They were like, oh, it's too expensive, never mind. So when I didn't care because I didn't think it was gonna happen anyways. So I forgot about it, and then like a couple weeks later, my mom comes back and she said, "Hey, guess what? Somebody at church sponsored your trip, so you are going to Russia in August." This was in August of the year 2000. And I was like, "What?" I remember, it's wild. Somebody sponsored my trip. It was like an angel, some kind of weird happening, one of those things. Somebody just stepped in and for some reason decided, they wanted me to go. So, yeah, I went for 3 weeks. It was incredible. It was amazing. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. This is already super long. I just felt that I was like on another planet. Everything was so different. And I don't know if it was because I was so young. I was like 13. just, oh my gosh, it was like amazing. I took pictures, and I made friends, and like, we made pen pals, and we went to orphanages, and we ate their food, and like it was so wild. And it wasn't a place that I was like, oh, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, because it was kind of a rough place to live, especially at that time. That I was scared to go out at night. I just didn't feel, it was kind of a spooky feeling, in those buildings where there were no lights, like in the stairs, so it'd be completely dark, and I just didn't know. There were kind of like a bunch of drunk people at the parks and stuff, so um, it was so long ago I can't really remember exactly, but so yeah, that's basically it. And then what I left, and it's kind of just hung on to me ever since. I just kind of like always had a itch to go back, and it wasn't something that I made up. I thought to myself, like, what am I gonna do in Russia? I have no real, just something pulling me back there over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, so much. And whenever I'd hear Russia in the street, it would feel like it'd be like music. My ears would like perk up, and I'd be, I would be like, oh wow. And I tried so many times to like begin learning Russian or whatever. Like, it took me so long to even learn the Cyrillic alphabet, just because I kind of never really, I don't know, I just kind of kept trying, and just leaving it alone. But I kept going back to it, you know. I just really liked the language. I liked, the people were, I mean, it sounds cliche or whatever, obviously, like, oh, you like the people, and the people were amazing. Well, yeah, like, but yeah, because they were a certain way of person that I really related to. Just the way they acted, and then I would hear a lot of other people say, "Oh, Russians are really cold and they're rude and whatever," and I always felt myself like really connected more to Russians than to like, you know, I'm not trying to like paint, because I'm American. Obviously, I'm not trying to like be oh like oh, Americans suck and Russians are awesome, like, or whatever. But I find in a lot of ways that I really don't fit in. Um, I just, I kind of don't really fit in with most people. I kind of keep to myself. I don't really like talking to people. I don't like small talk. I don't really um, like smiling for no reason. Um, I don't like this general like air of like kind of, I know this is gonna sound odd, but like just being polite, just being fake polite. And I really appreciate like a Russian sense of just the way they're very blunt, and they're very like, they're just a way, there's a way about them that is very interesting. And I prefer someone who is, like rough around the edges, like that's gonna just, if they don't like you, they don't like you. And it's very appealing to me. Like, it's more of like a challenge. But once you get to know a Russian, like, and I'm generalizing, but in my, like, from what I've experienced, like, they're like the coolest, like, they're just the best people to me. They're just super cool, like, just the way they act, like their whole mannerisms. I'm telling you, like, when I was in Georgia and Tbilisi, I didn't realize that there were Russians there, but it didn't occur to me that like Russians vacationed in Tbilisi. I guess they go to Batumi too, and obviously they vacation in like Turkey and like Thailand and stuff. But in Georgia's kind of like it's not really Slavic. I mean, it's not Slavic, but it's like has Soviet parts. It's right below Russia. Um, and Georgians don't really look like Russians. They just have a different look to them. But I remember I saw so many Russians, and I could spot a Russian from like a mile away. Like, just by the way it was weird because it'd be like just by the way they like held themselves. You know, they have a certain demeanor, and you could tell like they're Russian. And it's like, I don't know what that means or what I'm trying to say that means, but I'm just so attracted to it, you know? Anyways, so whatever. I went for 3 weeks when I was 13, and I was really young. And then I kept on thinking, like, I was like, hey, what are you trying to like make this myth? You're trying to like create this fantasy of like, you know, I hate that. I hate like people who create this whole like mythology around a place that they visited, and they're like, oh, it's the best, and it was you know, I have to go back, and whatever. And I was like, dude, you're just being super like childish, and you're being kind of like, it's puerile and juvenile, and you know, just see it for what it is. Like, you went there, I mean, you have no business going back there. So I thought like that, but I was like, you know, I really, really wanted to go back. It's just a super and then, you know, for a while I was like really broke, you know, just working. I got out of the Navy. I was in the Navy. I got out of the Navy, and then you know, I was a struggle bus for like many years after getting out of the Navy. And, so I never really had money because, you know, there's a lot of money. I've thrown away so much money, like, trying to go there, like between visas and between this and between that. And you know how traveling is, like, if you go to a place you're not familiar with, you're just going to make a lot of mistakes, and that costs money, usually, from booking the wrong place to like just like you don't know what you're doing, like you're a million different ways to just kind of like throw money away or whatever. But I always wanted to go back to Russia, though. I always wanted to go back. Kind of like, you know, I was like, it was weird. It was weird because it was like my conscious brain was like, no, it's not practical. It doesn't make any sense. You will derail your whole life going over there, right? Because if you have a life here, and I wasn't interested in getting a Russian girlfriend or anything like that. Like, you know, like, not whatsoever. Like, I'm a loner, you know, like if I go because I like it. And yeah, I can meet people or whatever, but I'm not, first of all, I'm not a girlfriend person. I am a loner, okay? Like, so like people are like, oh yeah, you want like a Russian girlfriend or blah, blah, blah. Like, do I like Russian girl? I mean, whatever. Like, there's gorgeous, look, if you want, you know, there's gorgeous, beautiful girls everywhere, females everywhere. Colombia, Russia, whatever, Ukraine, everywhere. If you want like a Slavic woman, you know, I'm not one of those people. I'm not like a oh yeah, I'm getting a Russian girl, like whatever. You can find, I mean, that's dumb. That's not me whatsoever. Yeah, at all. But do I like Russian girl, like females? Like, yeah, for sure. Like, they're cool too. Like, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, yes. I don't know how to answer that. It's weird. But am I going there to get like a girlfriend, or am I going there like to hook up or whatever? Like, not really, no. No. So then why if not that? Cuz when I was 13, I was trying to like, you know, I wasn't trying to hook up, but I was like, I was like chasing girls all the time. Like a 13-year-old homeschooled kid would, you know, I was like trying to like take naps on girls' shoulders, and like I would lay my head in their laps, and like they would like, you know, like touch my hair, like, you know, go like this, and you know, I'd be running after girls all the time, but I didn't know what I was, you know, I was like I had no clue about, I had no like bad intentions or anything like that, like real innocent, you know. So it's like, now why do I want to go back? Well, like even in, okay, so this is going so long. So you know, before I even started traveling a little bit, yeah, I just kind of like said, hey, I want to go back to Russia. I ordered the book, this book from like way to Russia.com. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but they have a book called Guidance to Russia, and I actually ordered the physical copy of the book, and it came shipped from Berlin, I think. And the thing is, I opened the book, and I was driving a 1987 Toyota Tercel, and I opened this book, and there was literally my car in the book. It was a picture of my literal exact same car, and it was in the book. And like, I took that as a sign, like, right away. Like, I knew that was a sign. Like, I was like, that's the weirdest thing. That's the most oddest thing ever. Because like, it's like a weird synchronicity, my car is in the book. So it's like I'm placing my own self into the book, whatever. I couldn't go. It was a lot of money, and I just couldn't afford it. I was going to go on like some kind of like crazy suicide mission over there, meaning like, just go with like, I don't know, $5,000 and including for the flight and with one-way ticket. I would have died. I mean, what I don't know how I wouldn't have survived, probably. I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't really plan it at all. I just kind of wing it. And then like, I went to Russia, or no, I was in Thailand. I was in Bangkok, and I remember wandering around. One night I just wandered around, and I went to this random like dead end. There was like a little bar there back when I used to drink, because I don't drink anymore. And there's just randomly like these 3 English teaching chicks back there. One of them was South African, one of them was Ukrainian, and then the third one was Russian. And like, I was like immediately like, I don't know, like I was immediately like just on the Russian one. I was like, talking to the Russian one, like showing her all my apps. I had Hello Talk on my phone, and I was showing her like all my conversations in Russian, and I was showing her how I already had like the Russian alphabet on my phone somehow. Like, I would just naturally like do this kind of thing, like always, just kind of always be on. Anyway, so yeah, like I wound up like hooking up with the Russian chick, and it was awesome. And I was like, how am I the only person? How am I in Thailand and I'm the only girl I hooked up with was with a Russian chick in Thailand? And I was like, bro, you got to go to Russia, man, because there's something with you in Russia. I don't know what it is. I know I keep saying it, but it's just really just one of those things that makes no sense. But so what happened was that getting the visa was a big ordeal, because it takes like a month to get the visa. And with my lifestyle, I don't really have like I kind of wanted to just do some traveling and kind of like get some traveling time under my belt. So that's why I went to Thailand. And then my next trip was I went to Ukraine, because I wanted to go to like an Eastern European country. And I was like, low-key, I was like scared to go to Russia for some reason. I don't know why, but for some reason I couldn't make that leap. I thought it was like too much of a leap. So I went to Ukraine. I stayed in Ukraine. I got locked down there because it was in COVID. And what's the point of this story? I forgot. I was in Ukraine for a while. And, it's similar to Russia. And it was great. But even there, I was like, no, you got to go to Russia. Like, you got to go to Russia. I felt, and that's it. And I know I keep repeating it and I keep saying the same thing, but I do not know what the thing is. I thought that Ukraine would scratch my Soviet itch. And it's not like I'm even a Soviet file or whatever. Like, do I like Soviet stuff? Like, yeah. Like, do I like the architecture? Yeah. Like, when I see one of them buildings like Девятиточка, whatever, however you say it. One of them buildings, any kind of brutalist building, whenever I just see like the Soviet setup, I get so giddy. I get so excited. I'm telling you, it's not like contrived. It's like completely involuntary. I get so excited. I used to walk like 13 miles during lockdown. In lockdown, this is when I started doing like a ton of walking. I would walk like 6 miles from like Podil in Kiev. I would walk like 6 miles, like all the way down to like this other neighborhood. And I'd make a loop all the way back, and it'd be like, whatever, 6-7 miles there and then 7 miles back. and just seeing like everything, just the buildings, the streets, the cars, the people, the stores, the little shops, the sky, the trees, the little parks that they have, everything would like get me so like fired up. Like I would just be so happy to be there. You know, every day I would be like, I am so happy to be here. This is the best. When I'd like take my little metal key, the little magnet key, and put it on the thing, go like beep, and then you open that iron prison door to the apartment. And every time I did that, I'd be like, this is so sick. Because I used to watch it in movies, how they open the door like that. And then even I would get so excited at how they open their window, like, you know, the European style. Like a lot of Europeans have windows like that. But like where you like turn the handle and then it'll like open it all the way. Or you can turn it halfway and you can like kind of tilt it. And then I'd be on the balcony and just like watch everybody like go out. And I was giddy, man. And reading Cyrillic, like seeing Cyrillic everywhere is like, it gives me like tingles, you know? It just does. And what else? Just the whole everything, like the parks, like the little workout parks that they have, the little like kind of like the way the grass is all kind of messed up, you know? And like their huge sidewalks that they have. And in Ukraine I didn't really get to eat any food because I had to make all my own food because everything was locked down, everything was quarantined down. But and I didn't really get to ride the metro that much except for the beginning, for the same reason. So I just did a lot of walking. And I mean, it's just, I couldn't have been more happy. And to be honest, when we got locked down, I got just super excited. I canceled my flight. Well, my flight got canceled, but I just didn't leave. And then that's it. I stayed there for like 4 months. So finally, what else happened? Oh yeah, what happened in Ukraine? I don't know. Like, just weird stuff happens. Like I would just always be walking around, you know, and then one day this lady, probably, I don't know what it was probably like some kind of like weird scam. I don't know if it was a scam or not, or what was going on, but like the lady was like asking for help and she wanted like whatever. She's like asking me so she wanted like clothes or something, and she wanted me to go to the store. And you know, I didn't care. I just want, like, I was like, do you want money? Like, this lady, whatever. I just gave her money. I guess she needed clothes. She had like a book of like how to like, I guess, translations for English or something. So if anyone knows if that's a scam or whatever that is, I don't know. It probably was. It didn't feel like a, I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, I gave the lady some money. It was, you know, whatever, like not a big deal. And she gave me like she gave me a hug, and you know, she gave me like a kiss on the cheek. And it was just like the warmest, just the sweetest, like warmest kiss. Just perfect. And then just like the chicken, the chick from Bangkok, like, you know, like just like just like it was the same feel, you know. Yeah, it's just the same feeling. And then in Russia, some drunk girl who's like having a meltdown came up behind me and asked me if I was smoking, and I was about to get rid of all my cigarettes. And anyways, and I gave her, she wanted a cigarette, and I gave her like my last two and then a lighter, and then she gave me a hug. And it's just like the warmest hug, you know, like when you like touch a tree, you know, you can feel someone's like energy. I mean, just energy like radiating through her body, you know, like just the purest, best energy. And then Maria, the lady who rented me out her apartment in Mourinho, by the way, Mourinho District, just like self-actualization, you know, so a place that I saw on Google Maps, and I was like, I'm gonna stay here. And I bet, like, you know, and I understand, like, if Russians think that place is ugly, I don't know if they think it's ugly. It's just a bunch of like, I think it's amazing. Like, if you talk to me about like New Jersey where I grew up, and you know, if I guess if you grew up there, you think, oh, that's tacky or like it's plain or whatever. But Merino, I like it. I think it's interesting. I guess just because I'm from the States and it's just so different. It's just cool. Like, when I went to Marine, I was so excited to get there because it's far away from the center, you know? I think it's the last stop on one of these trains. I forgot what train it is. I think it's like the blue line. I can't remember. But I was so excited. Like, oh my goodness, it was so exciting. And just the vibe, man. You could feel the vibe. In Ukraine too, you could feel the vibe in Ukraine too. So, and then in Russia, when I finally got to Russia, obviously everything was open. So I went to canteen and ate there. The best. I mean, it is so amazing to eat people's food. And I was staying with a lady, and she would cook me breakfast in the morning, and she cooked sirniki, right? And just the best, man. Like, I'm so excited. I wouldn't even eat. I was like OMADing, you know, one meal a day, but I made an exception to eat Russian breakfast, of course. Like, I'll break OMAD to eat Russian breakfast. I mean, that's like, when I think about eating Russian food, it's like putting, it's so symbolic for me. It's like I'm, you know, eating their thing, their culture, and it's like becoming part of me. And it's like, it's very, it's, I'm not gonna say it's like serious, but I mean, it's serious to me. Like, it's a big deal to me to go eat their food and like have an opportunity to eat their food, their everything, the way they do everything, compote, everything, ride on their train, you know, to the mall and to shop the way they shop and stuff like that. I mean, to walk on their streets. I mean, it's just great, man. And their trees and their parks and walking through their parks. So yeah, I'm just super stoked, man. And when I went there, you know, last year, I knew, I was like, you know, I'm meant to be here because I just don't want to stay in the States no more. I just don't. I love this country. I just don't want to stay here anymore. I'm pretty much over it. I'm not, and that doesn't mean that I'm like, you know, whatever, like, oh, I hate this country, whatever. I'm just over it, man. Like, I'm just done. Like, I there's, you know, I'm just done. Like, Russia for me has like so much meaning. Um the Everything to me over there is just like super meaningful, and I just know that I belong there. And that's it. I don't know, and hopefully maybe I can go and like contribute, and that it'll work out. I'm like super rambling, but yeah. All right, bye.